Hello friends, today we are going to discuss the complex shapes of the belly fat. There is no human in the world who at one time or another time is not affected by the belly fat, and one spends a lot of mental and physical energy to just to bring the body, especially the belly, in the shape. Normally what happens, a fat is human body is a very complex, I should say a complex machine, and human fat is naturally it's very essential part of our body, and men normally have the fat from 18 to 25%, and anything beyond 25% is treated as obese. Similarly, women should have the normal fat content in the body from 25 to 35%, and any fat more than 25 30% is considered to be an obese. Now, normally there has been what we can say a monstrous image of the fat, that with the mere thought of the fat, we just think all the disease and the diseases that we can imagine a human can have. But fat is not as monstrous as portrayed. Fat is very essential for the human body. Fat has, first of all, fat provides the cushioning to the vital organs such as kidneys. Fat is essential for providing the energy to the body in the shape of the calories. Especially the fat is also essential for certain hormones, production of certain hormones such as testosterone and other things in the body. 60% of the human brain is composed of the fat. Lack of fat can cause a lot of disease. It can cause rashness. It can cause irritability. It can cause loss of the hair. It can cause many other diseases which we are not aware of. So fat, fat in the normal course of the time, in normal course, should be maintained at the proper level. It should not exceed the desirable limits. A few years ago, some experiment conducted somewhere, and some mice were fed fat-free diet, and for over a period of 6 months, and another were given fat diet, and those without fat died within a period of 6 months. So fat is very essential for the functioning of the body. One of the more benefits of the fat is that it is helpful in providing the what we call the fat soluble vitamins such as vitamin E, vitamin D, and vitamin E. Vitamin A is essential for the this proper vision. Vitamin D is essential for the bones, and vitamin E has multiple benefits. Now, normally, why is excess fat harmful? Why has fat been linked to the many diseases? Basically, the fat has been linked to the type 2 diabetes. Fat has been linked to the heart disease. Fat has been linked to the excess fat has been linked to the what we call this. Stroke. It is because the abdominal liver converts the abdominal fat into such forms which are very dangerous for the human body, which have been linked to the which are very dangerous to the human body and have been linked to the many diseases. Now the question is why fat accumulates in the body. This is very in the belly. Sorry, the fat. Although you can find the fat in any part of the body, but especially in the belly, there are multiple reasons for this. First, one of the important reasons is a genetic factor. Some people have tendency to retain the fat in the belly. So whatever they can do, they can't help it. Fat automatically gets stored in their belly. They have inherited from their parents, and they have inherited from their own parents. So one cannot. This is something which is beyond one's control. Another factor is that men are more prone to accumulation of belly fat than the women. It is because in men there are those chylomicrons which are not only excess in men but are also very large in size. So men tend to have the belly fat more than the woman. Besides the one, another important factor is sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary lifestyle can also contribute to the belly fat. And one of the most important factors which has resulted in the belly fat is the use of such foods which have a lot of carbohydrates or a lot of calories. These are such as refined sugar, refined flour, oil, refined oil, we can say, and these chips, especially the potato chips and other foods which our modern day world has provided to us, which is not only easily available, but one develops the craving for these foods. So these high calorie, calorie foods have largely contributed to this belly fat. One more factor is that with the age, people tend to lose the muscle. So naturally, when people tend to lose the muscles or flexibility of the muscles, it definitely results in the accumulation of the belly fat. Another important factor is nowadays, which is a part of the modern lifestyle, is that the cortisol level can greatly trigger accumulation of the belly fat. So stress generates the cortisol, and cortisol automatically results in accumulation. So these few factors largely contribute to the development of the belly fat. Now, another important factor. Now we'll ask the question: why is belly fat hard to lose? Yes, first important factor is that belly fat. Some people tend to, as I said earlier, some people tend to have a tendency to retain the belly fat. Whatever they do, it will never go. Whatever they do, it will never go. As it is very difficult to get rid of it. The reason being that belly fat has a tendency to get reduced after a pretty long period of time with great efforts, and what we can call it, after making the tremendous efforts, whatever efforts these are. Another important factor for retention of it, apart from is that one of the most important is the retention of that some people have tendency to retain the belly fat, and another important factor is hormonal imbalance, insulin resistance. It can also result in not getting rid of the belly fat. And one another important factor is that low metabolism. Metabolism is basically a chemical reaction under which the body food gets converted into energy. Some people, with the passage of time, this metabolism gets reduced. So with the result that when the metabolism gets reduced, when metabolism is not as it was in the earlier years, people try to retain the belly fat. So increasing those, so these are some of the factors which are beyond the control of a human being. Although certain things can be done which can help us to reduce the belly fat, which will be discussed in the later part of the video. Now people ask why belly fat increases. I observed some people they eat a lot of things, but still they don't have the belly fat. They are not obese. It is because they have natural tendency. They have natural to convert the food into the energy, and in other words, their metabolism is very high. They don't this fat don't get stored in the body. So if we want to decrease the belly fat, we have to cut those foods which are which have high carbohydrate content, and which have the which are very these what we call rich in calories, rich in carbohydrates. We have to cut it, such as especially the refined foods. We have to do certain some exercise. We have to reduce the intake of the food overall. We have to do just reduce the stress level. One of the best exercises which people normally try to do exercise, go to the gyms, but hardly there is any difference after a period, after straining themselves for a certain months. The belly fat is again there. Then why is it? What is the important factor that can help us reduce the belly fat? Basically, people are under the impression that by doing the strength exercises we can reduce the belly fat, but it has been proved that while we do the exercise only strengthens the muscles, and its role in the reduction of the belly fat is hardly 5 to 10%. So belly strength exercise will not definitely it may reduce the belly fat, but it will not completely reduce it. So for reduction, we have to just, as I said, reduce the intake of the food, especially the food rich in carbohydrate and calories. And another one of the best exercises to reduce the belly fat is just walking. But some of the doctors and some people suggest that we should do the brisk walking. But I think it has been proved scientifically that brisk walking actually puts pressure on your heart, and in the process, cortisol level is increased in the body. When the cortisol level is there, cortisol level automatically triggers accumulation of the belly fat. So normal walking is best to reduce the belly fat, to reduce the visceral fat, Another important factor is there are certain foods such as green coffee, which has been put. A study in Switzerland has been put the green tea. Sorry, not green coffee. Green tea actually reduces the increases the metabolism and hence reduces the belly fat. And certain foods such as garcinia and ginger, cinnamon, and these foods, they try to increase your metabolism, and they try to reduce the belly fat automatically. The reduction, taking of these for a period of time also can help in reducing the belly fat. Another important factor which may seem very strange is honey. Honey has tendency to just mobilize the fat in the body, especially those who have having the hard belly. They should take the honey regularly over a certain period of time, and they can automatically feel the softening of their belly. And because the honey mobilize the honey, once the fat is mobilized, it will be easy to reduce it through walking and other means such as fasting or walking, etc. One more factor is there. I'm reminded of the law in the economics, whereas the bad currency drives out the good currency. Same applies to the body. When we stop taking the fat, people are under the impression that fatty liver and etc. are all, because of the fat. That's not the case. Fat is never metabolized in the liver. In fact, if we stop taking the fat, it may result in accumulation of the belly fat. So little good fat is always required, because like our fat, we have to take the fat to get rid of the fat. Another food which may help greatly reduce the belly fat is cabbage. Basically, cabbage contains the tartaric acid, which has a quality which prevents conversion of what we call carbohydrates and sugar into the belly fat. So if we summarize the things, what we have learned so far is that belly fat, every human at one time or another time gets affected with the belly fat. So main reasons for the belly fat is the taking the refined foods, sedentary lifestyle, and taking too much of calories and carbohydrates, and some genetic factors, such as some people have tendency to retain the belly fat, and low metabolism, which is also natural. So increasing the metabolism is also essential. How it can be increased, I told you earlier, by just taking certain foods, by walking, etc., and avoiding certain things which can go a great way in reducing the belly fat. Thank you very much.